Hello everyone, my name is Katie Carson and I am the owner of Royalty Soaps. I am also the head soap maker here on this channel, and today I'm going to be answering some of your questions. I'm also going to be discussing some of my New Year's resolution because welcome 2020. My brother Kenneth is going to be reading me the questions and then I will give a brief reply, or a long one if it's warranted.
Yay, Kenny's mic'd.
These questions were sent in via the community tab on YouTube and also via a little Instagram question bubble on Instagram.
Which soap that you made in 2019 are you most proud of?
So after reviewing all of the soaps, it appears that my two favorites are Claude Monet's Lily Pond and The Golden Afternoon, which was inspired by Alice in Wonderland. I just think that both of those designs are really interesting when it comes to the embeds on top, but also perfectly encapsulate the inspiration.
Are you planning on opening your own soap store?
So I really want to. Fiscally speaking, it might not be the best move simply because online sales, there's so much less involved when it comes to cost because you're not having to rent out a space, do electricity, water, taxes on the property, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if financially that is going to be the best move for me, but it is a dream of mine. And if that ever comes into fruition, I would have to put it probably in a bigger area. I'm way out in the middle of nowhere right now, and that type of a shop would do better in a larger city, so probably Dallas, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from where I am right now. So there's no immediate plans for doing a storefront, but I would love to, and it is a dream for out in the future.
What is the hardest part and the best part about being the oldest of many siblings?
This is a really good question. So I'd say the hardest part is that my parents hadn't done anything before, so I was kind of like the guinea pig in some areas. So I can see in certain areas where they're easier on my younger siblings, but they were harder on me. I'd say one of the best things about being the oldest sibling is being able to give advice, because typically, most of the things my siblings need advice on, I've already done. So I like being able to help them out when I can. That's a pretty good thing about being the oldest kid.
Would you ever travel to do soap demonstrations or workshops?
No question. I am for hire. Actually, one time, a very long time ago, somebody in Dubai wanted to fly me out to teach a private soap class for his daughter who watched my YouTube videos, and she was gonna have like a big 16-year-old birthday bash, but I was tied up at the time and like really young, so I didn't know how to pursue an opportunity like that or how to get like protection. I didn't know if the guy was like legit or not. So hindsight 2020, being as old as I am now, I could have pursued that opportunity a bit more. I love to speak at conventions. I've done that 3 times in the past and had a blast doing it. So absolutely, we'll travel for soap.
What is one thing that you would like to improve on in 2020, soap making or in general?
Audio quality. I think definitely video quality with our videos. We've come a long way in 2019, but in 2020, I'd like to see more improvements specifically with lighting and audio. I want to see packaging upgrades with our actual soap, and I want to see shipping upgrades as well. I do have things in place for each one of the quarters. I have deadlines for completing those tasks. Personally, I want to be better at time management. I'm pretty efficient right now, but even so, I still know that I let things slip between the cracks. I'm also easily distracted because I have a lot of things to do. So I want to be able to really utilize the time that I have and get very specific about which things that I'm doing and then pour my all into that and not be distracted from anything else, which also might mean putting my phone on silent and not taking phone calls for like a blocked hour so that I could do video editing or make up graphics or stuff like that.
Who is your favorite actress?
You know, it's hard because I have 2. They're so equal in my brain though. I love Dame Maggie Smith and I love Dame Judi Dench, and I think they're both fantastic. It would be really hard for me to pick one.
Oh, come on. I love both of them too, but you can't compare to Maggie Smith.
That's kind of true. Maggie Smith is iconic. I think she's my favorite.
Do you feel a lot of pressure by employing your family?
I'm somebody that does well under pressure. Having pressure pressure makes me perform optimally. I know that's not the case for a lot of people, but that is the case for me. But absolutely, I feel a lot of pressure. Both of my brothers are employed, my sister's employed, both of my parents are employed, I have family friends employed, so yeah, I often wake up in the morning and think about and go to bed at night and think about.
Will you ever do a meet and greet?
Of course. The only reason I haven't done something like this in the past is because I don't think at this point in time I'm popular enough to make it worth anybody's trouble. Seriously, if there was like a central location at an event a whole bunch of people were already gonna be at, like VidCon or something like that, a soap convention, I'd totally do it. That'd be super fun.
What's your favorite type of cake?
Oh, I love cake. My mom has this cake recipe and it's called P.S. I Love You, and it's like poppy seed I love you. And it's got like a layer of vanilla pudding on top with like whipped coconut cream and then poppy seeds in the cake. That one's really, really good.
What's one thing you did this year to step out of your comfort zone?
There's so many things, it feels like. It's funny, 2019 for me was kind of pivotal. In February, when I was 7.5 months pregnant, my best friend Caroline and I flew to LA for a weekend and neither of us had ever been, and that was a huge step out of my comfort zone because it was really the first time that I felt I was really responsible. So like renting a car, getting the Airbnb, and going to all the places we wanted to see, that was like a lot of pressure on me as an adult to plan all that out and get it right. So that was a huge step.
Who all is involved in the filming, editing, and uploading? Just you and Kenny?
Just me and Kenny, 2 people. It's me and Kenny. We do everything for that. Kenny's mainly lights and audio and visual setup. I do most of the content, as you know, and then he does most of the video editing now. And then I do all of the YouTube onboarding and all the social media. So all of the things that you guys see in the description box, that's me. All of the things you see on social media as of right now, that is also me.
How do you balance your home and work life as a self-employed mom of teeny tinies?
I'm really, really blessed because I have a lot of people in my life that can help out. Kenny and I, whenever we have filming days, typically have one of our siblings come in and watch my 2 kids for a couple hours so that we're uninterrupted. I do a lot of my working when my kids are taking their naps and at night whenever they're asleep. But a lot of it is really just like trying to fit things in and then dropping it whenever I need to. But it's definitely a balancing act. It's something that I've had to very, very gradually get better at. I also set very realistic goals for myself. Most of the time I give myself 1 to 2 tasks every single day.
What do you do if you hate a fragrance?
I let other people smell it in the group, and if everyone hates it, it gets tossed or it gets sent back to the manufacturer. If it's just me and my nose, then most of the time we let that one go through. It doesn't happen often though, because I'm very particular about the fragrances that I use, and I only really pick ones that I like.
What are some techniques that you wish that you had learned earlier in soap making?
That's a really good question. Man, y'all have nailed the questions this time around. I would say liquid drop swirls. It's a hard one to do actually, because if you have a drop swirl that's too runny, all of your colors can mix together. And if you have one that's too thick, it won't drop properly. So I've been making soap for almost 10 years now, and it just took me that long to get it right with my recipe.
Favorite Disney movie and or song?
Oh, you gotta narrow it down to one? I don't know if I can do that. I have certain songs that I like to sing more often, and then there's certain Disney songs that make me cry. Esmeralda singing God Help the Outcasts, I will bawl my eyeballs out. As far as comedy goes, The Sword, the Stone, when Merlin is packing up all of his belongings into a bag, one of my all-time favorites. There's so many quotable lines in The Sword and the Stone. Sir Ector being like, "Hop it, boy, hop, hop, hop it."
Oh, it's just a scrawny little sparrow with a beak full of soot.
Or I hate sunshine. Horrible, wholesome sunshine.
Do you have a limit in mind for your business, or will you expand it as much as possible with demand?
Oh, that's a really good question. So a while ago, like a year ago, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. We're gonna have to add more employees. I think we're just gonna cap it. But then the more we kept growing and the more people kept messaging me and being like, we want your soap, it's all out. I don't know, it just felt like it needed to grow. So I let it, and I think that might happen again. And we were able to reach a lot more people, and I think it just spread more happiness to grow. And so as long as that's what Royalty Soaps is continuing to do with growing, is reaching more people, touching more lives, and spreading more positivity and happiness, I'm not gonna cap it. But we are gonna keep core values in place, like our soaps are always gonna be handmade.
What is the most unexpected thing about being a dual YouTuber / small business owner?
The fact that I am recognized in public sometimes. I never thought ever that would happen. And I really like meeting you guys, so if you do see me out in public, say hi, because it's very fun, and now that it's happened more often, I'm more comfortable with it.
If you could fill a bathtub with absolutely anything, what would it be, and would you get in it?
Vanilla pudding and abso-freaking-lutely. Get in it, swim in it, eat it.
What is your advice to someone looking to start a soaping business?
Be yourself. How many times have we heard that when people are like, be true to yourself? What does that mean in space and time? So I'll tell you what that means for me, because I do think that that's incredibly important for being a successful business owner, especially in a saturated market, because there's a lot of soap makers out there. There's a lot of artisan soap. It's all over the place. And so making yourself stand out in such a saturated environment is difficult. So being true to yourself would be putting together the website the way that you want it to look like, putting together your packaging, your designs, all of that the way that you personally like, not what you think is going to sell well. I was told many times when I started that my high top soaps would never sell, that they look too much like food, blah blah, but I kept doing it anyway because that's what I enjoyed, and here we are. That would be my number one thing, is just do what you actually like and not what you think is gonna sell. And that would include not copying other people that are already selling stuff. Obviously for me, there's a lot of replica products of mine, specifically around the holiday times. My Sugar Plum Fairy soap gets copied all the time. Three Kings gets copied all the time. And I personally don't really care that they're being copied. I just look at those people copying them and I'm like, you're not gonna end up selling a whole bunch of those because people want the original product. And if you're just creating carbon copies of something someone's already made, then they're not gonna get the original. They're buying a knockoff, as it were. So don't create knockoff products of other people's products. Create something individual to you so that you can grow organically from your own creative imagination.
What is your most cherished possession?
I have a journal that I had since I was 15 or 16 that I've written a lot in. Those are really important to me because it's charted my progress from a teenager to an adult with marriage, kids, and all that stuff in between. So I think those are pretty invaluable, and I'm really glad that I spent my time journaling.
What is the hardest soap that you made this year?
As far as something that like we created and made a lot of, I would say Soot Sprite was pretty difficult. Getting those flames to actually look really spiky and not have any holes in them is kind of a difficult feat. Plus you have to put in all those teeny tiny microscopic eyeball embeds. So it was just really time consuming.
How is Pollyanna doing?
Aw, that's sweet. Pollyanna's doing great. And for those of y'all who are new around here, Pollyanna is one of my younger sisters. She has Down syndrome, and a couple years ago she was diagnosed with leukemia. So she had to go through chemotherapy, and she is now officially cancer-free. Her hair has grown back in, which we're really grateful for. She looks more like herself with her hair, obviously. She's super happy. She's squared away and great, so thanks for asking.
What did you do in terms of marketing for your business at the very beginning?
I didn't really know anything about marketing, and honestly, on a very real, like 100% open with you guys, marketing always feels like manipulation to me. So I never really liked calling anything that I was doing marketing because it just made it sound like I was trying to get people to buy something they didn't want. And now what I like to think of it as is it's something y'all have already expressed a desire to have, and I just need to make that more accessible to you. So I posted a lot on social media to be like, hey, I'm here if you're interested. I got this kind of good stuff. And I was pretty consistent. And as far as marketing goes now and later on, Posting consistently is the #1 thing that you need to be doing.
What is your favorite thing about being a mom?
Oh, my kids make that hard for me to answer just one, but I have to say, because I grew up with siblings and stuff, I've been around kids my whole life, but Lily is just like, her nature, completely separate from anything Caleb or I have done, is so sweet, and she's such an affectionate child. So one of my favorite things that she does is just randomly tell me that she loves me, and I like get emotional every single time. My heart can't take it. She'll just come up and be like, I love you so much, mama, and that's just precious. And of course, Will is still a baby, so he's cuddly and squishy and laughy, and there's just nothing not to love about him.
Have your friends and family always been supportive of your dreams?
Friends, yes. All of my good friends were always supportive. I had acquaintances whenever I was in school that definitely looked down on what I was doing. When asking me about myself after we had like left high school, would just ask it in such a way that you knew they were just making fun of you. So they'd be like, so how's your little soap business going? I don't think you're actually asking me that question because you're interested. And I definitely had extended family members who I know thought I was making the wrong decision. I think both of my parents always provided me with everything that I needed, especially my mom, who rooted from me from the very beginning and was very like, no, she's gonna nail it. It's gonna be great. Even when I myself did not think that I would ever sell more than like 10 bars a month. My dad was a little bit different, and he'll tell you that too. I'm not outing him here. He'll be like, no, I never thought this was going anywhere. I thought it was something that was gonna occupy her time for a while. He will tell you as well that he was pleasantly surprised otherwise.
How do you compensate for heat and humidity in your storage and curing areas?
For heat, you're gonna need to put in AC. And then as far as humidity goes, we have miniature dehumidifiers that were from Amazon that are like 40 or 50 bucks, and those work so well, especially if you have a very small space, like, you know, maybe 250 square feet, 300 square feet or less. And then for the bigger shop, we have a really big one that just sucks all of the humidity right out. It's a couple $100. It was one of those purchases that was necessary but painful because they are expensive, but my goodness, they absolutely help with your soaps getting harder faster. They don't speed up cure time because cure time is a chemical process that has to happen over time. But as far as like getting the water out of the bar, it actually does help, and they definitely do get harder faster. I have some questions here from YouTube. One of them, Kenny, is, can I have your number?
No.
What's my Enneagram type? I'm a dead split between a 2 and a 4. I have taken the official test, I have taken all the offshoot tests, and it always has me at like 50% 2, 50% 4, and if it's not a dead split, I lean a little more 2.
All right, now it's time for the lightning round.
Yay!
You can only answer with one word. Will you continue to do fan designs?
Yes.
Do you sell at markets?
No.
Would you ever consider making liquid soaps?
Yes.
Will you be making conditioner bars?
Yes.
Do you wish you had more help?
Yes.
Will you be doing more soap making tutorials in the future?
Yes.
Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Will you ever share more on your second channel again?
Yes.
Soap studio tour?
Yes.
Favorite stone or gemstone?
Opal.
How many hours do you work a day?
24.
Any chances for Royalty Soap's official merch in 2020?
Yes.
Proudest achievement of 2019?
Baby.
Why soap?
Because.
How do you feel knowing that you bring joy to so many people who watch you?
Honored.
Can we expect any collaborations from other soap makers or YouTubers next year?
Possibly.
Favorite soap month?
February.
Would you ever do a blooper video?
Yes.
Have you ever gotten tired of making soap?
Oh, yes.
All right, that's it, you win!
Yay! As far as goals for 2019, I really want to see Royalty Soaps do more with the YouTube channel as far as variety is concerned. I love our classic soap making videos, but I also want to offer new things like creative instructional tutorials for you guys in the Royal Creative Academy. I also want to do more experimental type stuff, like what happens when you put 20 different kinds of red into one soap? Will it create the truest form of red or just pink? Who knows, but I want to. I want to roll out at least 3 new products product lines. I want to upgrade our packaging and make it even more beautiful so that you guys have an absolutely flawless unboxing experience that you can get excited about every single time. Things I don't want to do in 2020. Take myself and my time for granted. I made a lot of business moves in 2019 that I feel have led up to this moment, and I have a lot of mistakes in my past that I definitely learned from. One of which is that my time and my expertise is valuable, and not only is it valuable to me, it's valuable to many, many other companies. So picking good people to collaborate with, picking reputable and honest companies to work with, and showcasing both supplies and suppliers that I think are worthy of being showcased are definitely things I want to do this year. Another thing I don't want to do is take any of this for granted. I think I've done a pretty good job of doing this in the past because it is the way I truly feel, which is super, super grateful. I never thought Royalty Soaps was gonna have this many people following me, and I don't really prioritize adding more and more and more and more subscribers. I think there's an insatiable idea out there that you always need more, and I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm really just content with where we are now. I was grateful when I had 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. Like, that blew my mind, and here we are now at 400,000 subscribers, and that's crazy. And so I'm very content, and I don't ever want to take any of this for granted. I never want to take a single sale for granted, a single view for granted. This is all a blessing, and I'm just grateful that y'all want to be here, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to provide you guys with some entertainment. And I definitely don't want to stop being true to myself this year. It's taken a long time to try to figure out who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing in this internet land. I started off when I was 16 on this platform, and I kind of grew up a little bit, so to say, in soap land over here, and I'm really happy with who I am today and what Royalty Soaps represents as a collective whole, and how we are just non-confrontational and happy and provide a safe space for everyone to come and chat and talk about all things good and soapy, and I'm proud of that, and I'm happy for that. So those are the things I do want to do and the things I don't want to do. We've covered some goals, we've answered some questions. I can't wait to share with you guys what we have in store as far as videos and stuff go. I can't wait to get our beginner series started. I've never done anything like that before, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. I'm just gonna hold a fake champagne glass here and be like, cheers to 2020, cheers to soapy goodness, cheers to sharing love and positivity online, and I will see you guys on Saturday. That is the release day of our Cosmic Fairy Tale collection. Those are all the soaps that I made in December. And the final installment of said collection, it's the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, the finale. And until then, have an absolutely royal day, and here's to 2020. Bye for now. Meow.